You've probably heard what are called old wives' tales before, and a lot of them are not true. Don't swim within 30 minutes of eating food. If you swallow chewing gum, it stays in your stomach for 7 years. Sitting too close to the TV will ruin your eyes. Shaving makes your hair grow back thicker. Cracking your knuckles will give you arthritis. All of those are completely false. And so is this writing one. Only write what you know. Nope, but it's mostly wrong. Now, if you think about this for literally 2 seconds, you're going to realize, at least on the surface, that this is not true. Write what you know. It's not true. Otherwise, we'd have no sci-fi, fantasy, or honestly, most horror movies at all. No superhero movies either. So write what you know, it's generally wrong, but is it really bad advice, or is there some truth in it? Well, honestly, yes to both. But let's deal with the why it's bad first. One, if you think you can only write what you know, it limits the scope of your writing to your own life experience. You can never write about a place you've never been. You can never write about people you haven't met. You can never write about experiences you haven't had. That means nothing historical or set in the future or fantastic or more than likely scary. In fact, if you only write what you know, your stories are going to be boring. I'm sorry to say it, but someone has to say it, so I'm going to be that guy. Your life is boring to other people. To you, it's fascinating. To those who care about you, it's interesting. To everyone else, sorry, boring. There is nothing that interesting about it. Your schedule is basically the same from week to week. Yes, there may be some excitement from time to time, but generally it's pretty normal and boring. In fact, for nearly all of you, and this includes me too, while there may be some emotionally exciting or traumatizing things that happen in your life, for the most part, it's boring. And I need to be that guy. I need to point this out because I read a lot of scripts from writers, first scripts especially, based on the writer's own life experiences. And those scripts are regularly, not always, but regularly boring. Not enough happens, or at least not enough to make the audience care. And you gotta start fictionalizing a lot of things. It matters to you. Your historical life matters to you. And that's super important. And it's part of who you are. And that's awesome. But for other people looking on, honestly, I'm sorry, they don't care. And the reason for that is what is important to you is not necessarily important to someone else. When it comes to our own lives, most people look at their life, I look at my life, you look at your life, as if you or they, whoever it is, are the hero of that story. Everyone else is a supporting or background character in it. You are the hero of your own story. No one else is, but for someone else, they're the hero, not you. You're just a background character. And so when you presume that your experiences are better than anyone else's, you've already lost your audience because you're talking down to them as if they are beneath you. And if you want to make it as a storyteller, you have to look at the audience as partners with you. It takes two to tell a story effectively, the storyteller and the audience. And if they get even a hint that you are talking down to them, they're done. Now, for those of you still with me, or if you've watched this channel long enough, you know I want nothing more than for you to find success as a screenwriter. And sometimes that means I get a little in your face. And if you think you can only write stuff you know, your stories are going to be boring and stale because your life is actually a little boring. I'm sorry, it is. And you're going to end up talking down to the audience because you think you know better. And I don't want you to do either of those things. You want the audience on your side. In fact, that's part of your job as a screenwriter and storyteller. Make the audience know they're going to benefit from their experience of participating in the story that you're telling. But that means you are going to have to get outside of yourself at least a little bit, and you can't write what you know. This leads to the third thing. If you write what you know, you come across as someone who has all the answers. The best screenplays, they don't answer questions. They ask them. They don't tell people what to believe. They force people to wrestle with how they feel about an issue or a topic. This is why you'll hear from me that you should have characters on different sides of the same issue. It creates more conflict in your story. That's one, that's always good. But two, it allows the audience to make up their own mind. No one likes being told what to do. They like being given a choice. But for you to write only what you know, that means you have to have a decision about something, or at least be willing to admit you don't know something, and most people don't do that naturally. If you write only what you know, that means you are not willing to admit and not willing to be transparent about the fact that there are things you just don't know or understand. Good writers are transparent and vulnerable because they know what they know and they know what they don't. and both of those things bleed onto the page. So writing only what you know makes your stories boring, talks down to the audience in you, the storyteller, know better than they do kind of a tone, and 3, it doesn't allow the audience to wrestle with questions that can actually change and shape who they are as people. And most aspiring and professional screenwriters write stories because they feel they have an important story to tell and they want to positively impact and influence people. But you can't do that if you're only writing what you know. And there are some benefits of writing what you don't know. 1, it forces you to grow, not only as a writer, but also as a human being. One of the most base instincts everyone has is curiosity. Humans are curious. We want to know things, and storytellers use curiosity as a tool to get audiences interested and engaged in a story. But you, as the storyteller, also have to be curious, not just about stories, but about ideas, about people, and about our world. Most sci-fi stories are born because someone asks a what-if question. What if we had a society of space exploration where money wasn't a thing and everyone can pursue their own interests? That's one. What if aliens arrived and wanted to take over the Earth? That's another. What if, and just fill in the blank. If you're asking what if, you can't write what you know. You're already in unknown territory, and that is what makes it so exciting. Another benefit of writing what you don't know is it puts you in the right frame of mind to write. One of having a benevolent attitude. You write because you want others to benefit from what you're writing. You are gifting something to them, and you want them to receive it in a way that you intend. And so you give a story with a benevolent heart. And in this way, you are approaching the story not from a place of arrogance of only what you know, but from a place of discovery and adventure, offering it to an audience as something they can wrestle with and discover on their own. Now, is there some truth in the write what you know wives' tale? Well, yeah, but it's not what you think. The truth about the saying is related to your voice as a writer, your true, authentic, writerly voice. Your voice is a result of your experiences, your hopes, your goals, your dreams, your whatever it is that makes up you and your own hero story. And if you want to find success as a writer, you have to unleash your true, authentic voice. And in that sense, you have to write what you know. But you're not writing about only the experiences you know personally. You are writing in a way that truly expresses who you are as a person for that moment with that story. And I said it that way because your voice may be tweaked from script to script to script, but you have to be willing to be transparent and vulnerable on the page. And that is writing what you know. So what is it you have to know? Yourself. You have to know yourself. Be confident in yourself. Know what you're good at and what you aren't. Know what you believe and know what you doubt. And know it to your core. Because if you are actually writing what you know, it's not that you're writing a story set in the hometown where you grew up. You're writing with the voice of the person who has been shaped by their experience growing up in that hometown. So do not write what you know, and yet kinda write what you know. And I hope that makes a little bit of sense, but more than that, I hope it makes you wrestle with a few things, because I want you to be the best writer you can be. I want to help you find success. If you want some more help, watch this. There are fun buttons and links below to resources I have that can help you. Use them, and when you tell a story, do and do not write what you know. That way, you can tell a story that matters. See you later.